Hello, and welcome to Vacation Station, hosted by Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazines.com.
Glynn Burrows, the owner of Norfolk Tours in England, is joining us on Big Blend Radio's Vacation Station show today to give us a locals insider scoop on what it's like to live, work, and play in Norfolk, England. It's all part of our locals insider stories, and his answers to our 10 questions, because we love to play 10 questions, are featured on blendradioandtv.com and also in the May-June 2018 issue of Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. Now, Glynn's a Big Blend expert contributor, and you can read his articles, especially connecting families with their history, their ancestral roots in Norfolk and all of England. And you can read his articles, listen to his past interviews. Just go to blendradioandtv.com, and you'll see him in our expert department. And the most important thing is go to his website, norfolk-tours.co.uk, and you can learn all about his tour company, where he really creates a complete custom tour. And it'll take you around from English pubs to finding where your family was born, going to the coast, looking at seals, go bird watching, maybe go paint a windmill, because apparently they have windmills in Norfolk. So, hey, Glynn, welcome back.
Hello, good to see you again, or speak to you anyway. Can't quite see you.
Yeah, we're going to get there. That's our next step. That's coming.
That'll be
Get
fun.
ready.
Good.
Get ready for that. Yeah, that means we'll have to do our hair up.
Yeah, and we'll have to not be in our jammies.
Yeah, really, because we spend our days in our pajamas, Glynn.
Yeah,
I don't think
blame
you do. No, listen, you really do have a windmill.
Oh, we've got lots of windmills.
That's cool.
Yeah. Not only do we have windmills, but we have wind pumps. In Holland, where they drain the sort of fens and the boglands in Holland to reclaim land. Well, we have a lot of wind pumps in the Norfolk Broads, which are waterways. They're not women. They're waterways, and the Norfolk Broads are all drained, so they have wind pumps. So they look like a windmill, but they actually pump water. So
wow.
we've got loads of these lovely buildings with sails on that go round. Some of them are still grind corn, the proper windmills. And there's one at Great Bircham, which has got a lovely little tea room with it. So you can go in there and you can, buy some bread and guess what? Cheese scones that are baked from the flour that's ground in the mill.
Oh, that is awesome.
Cool.
See, now, I know you've been on our
that.
show for a number of years, Glynn, and, we've got quite a collection of your articles, which is fantastic. But I am going to ask you a question that you may say, now, come on, Lisa, you know better. But I'm going to ask for, all of our new listeners that may not know, let's take a look at where Norfolk is, because we definitely have a tie on the east coast of America. We have Norfolk, and we also have Surrey, and, we have Suffolk, and we have, all these names. Ipswich, connected back to you. But Norfolk, am I right? It's up north of London, right?
That's on the east coast. Just northeast of London. It's the top of the bump that sticks out into the North Sea. So we're about an hour and a half by train from London, about 2.5 hours by car. So we're in easy striking distance of London where we are.
Okay, so also I know that you've got the North Sea, because you always talk about going to the coast and going to the beach. And I was reading up a little bit on Norfolk, because I've never heard of Norfolk. I'm just kidding. The Wash. What is the Wash? Because I was reading, so in Wikipedia, they're like, okay, because I always like to relook at maps and everything.
Yes.
And it says that one of your boundaries is the Wash. And I was like, what is this, a laundromat?
No, the Wash itself is like a big bay, and it's part of the North Sea between Norfolk and Lincolnshire. So it's between sort of King's Lynn, Hunstanton, and Boston, another name that you recognise. Wow. But Boston is in Lincolnshire. And when you're standing on the Norfolk coast, looking across the Wash, you can see Boston, and we call it Boston Stump. because their church is a really tall landmark, and that looks like a tree stump. So we call it Boston Stump. And on a clear day from Hunstanton, you can actually look across the Wash and see Boston Stump. So it's like a bay.
Okay, that's neat to know, because I was like, I've never heard of that. That's interesting that Boston is there. So so I didn't know Boston came from England. Okay, that name. Yeah. I didn't know that one. I mean, it's kind of like, duh, I should have. But now my mind goes immediately to, so does Boston baked beans come from England or America?
I would imagine they're American.
Really? Because now you have baked beans. I mean, baked beans was a
baked bread.
Well, we didn't used to grow beans. We grew, broad beans, but we didn't normally have beans like, cans of beans in tomato sauce. That I think you'll find that's an American thing.
Really?
The cowboys used to eat beans.
American. Wow. Yeah. Because beans. Yeah. I mean, we eat our beans as chili over here because we're in the desert in the Southwest.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So we're a little everyone eats chili in this country and baked beans. But in England, I remember baked beans on toast, and they'd have those little wieners in them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, we call them baby sausages. We don't call them wieners.
Okay. Well, we have politicians with that name, but
yes,
we really do.
Right.
We won't go there. But we always manage to talk about food on this show. But the other thing, before we get into the 10 questions, Norfolk, this is your ancestral home. I mean, your ancestors, and I mean, that's part of how you got into your family history and helping others with the family history, that this is your lineage is from here.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, where I'm sitting at the moment in the middle of Norfolk, all of my ancestors lived within 50 miles of where I'm sitting today. And
wow.
99% of them are in Norfolk. There's a couple that went over the border into Suffolk, but 99% of my ancestors that I've found are all from Norfolk. Obviously, if I go further back, I'm going to find that I've got Danish and probably Roman blood in me. But all of my known ancestors lived within 50 miles of where I'm sitting today.
Wow, that is amazing.
We sure can't say that.
We can't say that about ours. Okay, but
no.
Okay. Now going back, and it was the last time you were on the show, and I got into the map thing. Is Hull in Norfolk or East Anglia region?
No, Hull is up north, a bit further on the east coast.
Hull. Was it Hull?
Holt.
What about?
Oh, Holt. Yes, yeah. That's in Norfolk. Yeah.
Okay.
Holt.
Okay. So that's what it was. And for some reason, I know Hull is connected to our family, but Holt, I don't know why, but I feel like Holt. There's something about Holt. I don't know what it is, but I just was like, we have family there. I don't know. I just, for some reason.
Well, you need to let me know.
I have no idea. I just, for some reason, the Holt name is just, I don't know, maybe we interviewed somebody with the last name Holt or something, but recently, but it somehow just, I don't know, my whole like body went like, oh, you're connected to there. So I don't know. And I think,
Holt is a lovely, lovely Georgian town, beautiful town.
See, now when you say Georgian town over here, that means you're in Georgia eating peaches.
No, Georgian in England generally means 18th century.
Oh, see, yeah.
So a lot of the buildings in Hull were built in the 18th century because there was, again, going back to what we were talking about earlier about having fire engines in towns. A lot of towns had fires because all the buildings were made of wood, and in Norfolk most of them were thatched. So obviously you used to get quite a few fires, and if one house caught fire, then very often the whole town would catch fire. And that is what happened in Holt, and they sort of rebuilt the entire centre of the town, and a lot of that is still standing. So you've got a lovely Georgian town centre, which is, mid 18th century.
Well, awesome. Cool. Awesome. And well, we do have Georgian architecture. You see that, and we have a lot of historic walking tours in all the communities we've been to pretty much. And then it's amazing. You'll be in a desert Southwest, and all of a sudden he'll be like, Victorian houses with turrets, and it's really fascinating how it all happened. But it does come, it all comes from your area.
Yeah,
You did it.
Yeah.
You did it. So before we get into the 10 questions, the last question of this is, you have a Norfolk nickname, as I recall.
Yeah. A Norfolk person is called a dumpling. And a dumpling, which is basically what you eat with a beef stew. You have a dumpling on the top of it. But a Norfolk dumpling is really special because it's only made with flour, salt, and water. So you don't put any fat in a Norfolk dumpling. And they are really difficult to get good because obviously a lot of them, if you're not careful, turn out like a bullet. But if you're good at cooking, you can get a really nice Norfolk dumpling. And that's what Norfolk people are called, dumplings.
Well, there you go.
Do you know why?
We're back to food again.
Do you know why?
Because the Norfolk dumpling is a speciality of Norfolk. So, people knew that if you made a Norfolk dumpling, you came from Norfolk, so therefore you got the nickname of being a Norfolk dumpling because you came from Norfolk.
You're either a Boston baked bean or a Norfolk dumpling.
Well, there you go.
Or you could be a Mr. Whippy.
Or we get to be tacos.
Yeah,
we get to be tacos or enchiladas.
Yeah, well, they anyway, I won't get into names of that, but I wanted to ask you, your first question is, what are some of the favorite things about living in Norfolk? I know that you are involved in tourism, but what's it like to actually live there that, because a lot of us, I know you've lived there all your life, but what keeps you there?
Well, we've already touched on it, that actually the coast is just up the road. I can go to any number of different types of beaches within a half an hour. So I could go to King's Lynn, which is a port. I could go to Hunstanton, which is like Blackpool, or like, it's not like Los Angeles. Is it Los Angeles, the big gambling capital?
Oh, Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Yeah, it's not like Las Vegas, but it's a sort of a we call it a slot machine type seaside resort.
Touristy. Yeah, touristy.
So you can go there with lovely beaches. I can go a little bit further along, and then there are just beaches. So there's nothing there apart from the beach. A little bit further along, you've got shingle beaches, so that's just all stone. A bit further along, you've got just beautiful white sand. We've got so much. And that's all within half an hour because I live right in the middle of Norfolk. So if you're imagining that Norfolk is a clock face, from about 11 o'clock right the way round to 4 o'clock, I've got beaches within half an hour.
Wow.
So that's one of the things about living in Norfolk. And also we're close to the countryside, obviously close to the countryside. I'm looking out and I've got massive trees and birds in my garden, and so we've got lovely countryside. But if I want to go to London, that's only a couple of hours down the road. So got the best of all worlds, really.
Sounds like it.
It's nice because you don't have to travel far, and you can see a whole bunch of different things.
Oh yes, yeah.
It's cool. So now this is a really good question for you because of your tourism and touring experience. Your friends and relatives are coming to visit you. Yep. And you're the tour guide. Do you go imagine that? Where would you take them?
Yeah, well, there's such a lot of choice. But if I've got someone coming over who, it hasn't been before, like I had my relations over from Canada. I always take them to a ruined church because we've got loads and loads of medieval churches. I think we had well over 600 medieval churches. So I always take them to a ruined church because a ruined church has got a lot more atmosphere to it. So I often take them to one of my favourite ones, which is a little tiny Saxon church. So that's well over 1,000 years old. So I take them to that. Obviously take them to a castle. We've got several castles to choose from Norwich Castle itself, which is actually a building. Or we've got ruined castles as well. So we've got choices of castles because we've got a lot of them as well. And some of them date back to the Norman, the Domesday. So we've got lovely castles to look at. Obviously, I'll take them to Sandringham, which is where the Queen lives. because that's just a lovely place to look around. Beautiful grounds, lovely gardens, and that's the Queen's private house, so that's just lovely. And to the coast, everybody loves to have fish and chips at the coast because that's what people think of as England, and to sit on the side of the coast, and enjoy fish and chips with sea air in your face. You can't find a better way to finish an evening,
I like that.
Cool, me too.
I like that. I like that a lot. I miss the coast. Every time you're on a show, I'm like, I need to go to the beach.
Yeah.
Now, what I wanted to ask, is some of the fun facts and hidden treasures of Norfolk that people may not know about, even people that are from your area. So, can you give us a few of those hidden gems? Because I know you know them.
Yeah. Well, again, not many people realise that we've got over 600 medieval churches. That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Norwich has got the most medieval churches north of the Alps in any one city. So there is no city that's got more churches than Norwich north of the Alps. And that's amazing. Round tower churches. I mean, round tower churches were popular before the Normans came because we don't have any proper stone in Norfolk apart from flint. And you can't cut flint. You can break it, but you can't cut it. So it's really difficult to build a square corner, a stable square corner. So therefore they built round towers for their churches because you can build a circle with flint, but you can't build squares. So we've got a lot of round towers in Norfolk, which I think we've got, I know we've got more than any other county in England. And most of them are Saxon. So most of them round tower churches are over 1,000 years old. I just love the fact that we're surrounded by water. The county boundary is either the North Sea or a river or a ditch. It's always water. You have to cross water to get into Norfolk, and a lot of people find that quite funny. To think that you have to go over a bridge to get into Norfolk. That's always lovely to think.
I like that.
And obviously Princess Diana was born here. I think most people know that now because she's been such a popular person. But Princess Diana was born here. So that I'm very, very proud of the fact that Diana was born in Norfolk.
She's a wonderful, wonderful woman. Wonderful lady, good example of integrity and kindness. And
and so are her sons.
Yeah, her sons are amazing. I love her sons. I really do. So I just, what an amazing, just a good example, good leadership for their age. And I think for the younger generation to have, the younger generation as princes and, how they're behaving, I think they inspire younger people to, behave themselves.
William and Kate, when William and Kate set up home after they first got married, they chose Norfolk as their place to live.
Well, it looks so pretty. All the photos and your new video. Oh man, that's it. Everyone's got to see Glynn's new video on Norfolk Tours. So go to norfolk-tours.co.uk and connect with them there and on Facebook because that's where I first saw it was on your Facebook page.
It's on Facebook,
and on YouTube, and it's really nice. I loved how that came out, and it was nice to see Norfolk and to see you take people around and show them history. We like that.
That's cool.
Okay, so Nancy's got, of course, this is Nancy's question.
Yeah, I want to know, what would you recommend or where would you go if you were going on a date night?
Well, luckily Diane's sitting in the other room, so she's not listening. But again, I've said about the seaside. I mean, there is nothing better than walking along the beach. I just love walking along the beach. And we've got so much to choose from. And also we've got so many lovely old pubs. And there is nothing better on a cold winter's night to go and have a walk along the beach when the sun is going down and go and sit by a roaring fire in a country pub and have a lovely local meal. and that, cozying up by a fire has to be the best way to spend an evening.
Without a cell phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a cell. Yeah. Well, the good thing about Norfolk is very often you go to a place and you can't get a signal. So that's brilliant.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
That's a hidden treasure right there.
You tell me.
I love that. I think that is
cool.
We need more of that. Nancy and I, so interesting. We were in a park the other day, and we had a little bit of an emergency. First, we met up with a rattlesnake, and who wanted to come hang out with us in this little this little shelter, and we had to jump out the window, which it's open window. We went running down, and I mean it was close, and we got a little too close to him, and he got a little too close to us, and then it was like uh-oh. So we go running down the hill. Now this is the second time this has happened to us, and it's that time of year. And we'd had a full day. We'd been all over, our region filming and doing our 1 hour walks. And so we come running down the hill, get into the car, and we both had the giggles. We get in, I start the car, and it doesn't start. So the battery went dead. And now it's getting towards the evening time. And now I'm like, well, my cell phone doesn't work. And then suddenly it did. And then I had no batteries because it was really trying. But you could just see how, we have these urban parks and these areas where normally we didn't have cell phone service. And suddenly I was able to connect, which was good. And then this really spunky, hunky park policeman came and jumped the car and made her wake up. But it was amazing.
Made you wake up as well.
Yes, yes, we did.
Grateful.
Yes,
I really didn't want to sleep in the park.
Well, I don't know, but I'm into park police now. But I was amazed at the cell phone encroachment, and that's something we're battling for our national parks now is drones, people flying drones in parks, and then also with cell phone technology, because it actually does affect the plants and the insects. Yeah. I mean, there's all those weird signals going around. And we may not feel it, but there's studies about the negative effects. But it's coming. So when you find places like Norfolk where you can just disconnect, it's such a refreshing, amazing feeling, Yeah. So I like that.
So next question. Now, if you want to go on a picnic somewhere close by to you.
That's romantic.
Right.
Yes, we like picnics. We do this all the time.
Yes.
Where would you go? And then packing just local food and drink, what would you take in the picnic basket?
Well, there's lots of places. We're so lucky. I mean, like stately homes. We've got so many great big stately houses. Like Sandringham, like Holcombe Hall. We've got Houghton Hall. We've got Blickling Hall, where Anne Boleyn's family came from. We've got Oxborough Hall. We've got all these great big houses, and most of them are open to the public, and they allow you to walk around the grounds, and you can picnic. Most of them have picnic benches nowadays, so you can take your own picnic and enjoy the grounds. So you can look at their gardens and walk around their lakes and things like that. So that's where I would go, is because you've got beautiful scenery and lovely surroundings, and you're in the countryside, and that's lovely.
You can pretend the houses are yours.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we belong to the National Trust, obviously, so you can go and have a look around the house and see how the other half lived. Or you can just enjoy the gardens, because sometimes you don't want to have a look round inside houses. You just want to enjoy the outside, So that's the sort of place that I would go. Or the beach again, We got so much, to sit on the beach is lovely. But we're also lucky that we've got lots of lovely food. So we still have local bakers who make proper bread, proper lovely brown granary bread, which is what I love. We have lots of seafood. So we have lobsters, crabs, all them sorts of lovely seafood, lots of different fish. So my favourite is the chroma crab. That's a beautiful crab. They're normally about 6 inches across, so that size of a crab. They make a beautiful salad obviously. I love samphire, which is a type of seaweed. I don't know if you have samphire in America. It's a seaweed that you have to boil, and then you sort of pull it off the stem, and you can either then pickle it in vinegar or you just have it warm with butter. I normally have it pickled with vinegar, and it's absolutely gorgeous in lots of brown bread. You know, we have lots of lovely salad in the summertime, so we've got, you know, lovely local tomatoes and lettuces, cucumbers and things. I do love the smell of fresh grown tomatoes. They've got that lovely smell, haven't they? You know, and I do love fresh tomatoes.
I think it's such a pretty plant. It's a pretty plant.
Yes, they are. But I love to eat tomatoes like an apple. You know, so you just pick a tomato up and eat it. I love that. The trouble is with the tomato, they do tend to burst, and then you get covered in tomato juice.
Well, that means you're happy. That's what I say about fruit, like peaches. When you bite into a peach, you should have a peach face. That needs to happen.
That's all fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know if when you was in England, whether you had pork pies. They're really popular for picnics. It's made with a hot water paste, so it's a pastry on the outside, and it's minced up pork on the inside, and that's just an English delicacy, which is lovely.
I think we've had that. It sounds really familiar, and I can almost taste like the texture. It's weird, and it's like a good dose of salt content in there, as I recall, which we like.
Definitely. And then obviously lovely cheddar cheese and local cheeses again. You know, there's nothing better than a cheese and onion sandwich. It's really beautiful. And then obviously for dessert, you can have strawberries and cream. You know, how more Wimbledon can you get than strawberries and cream?
That it is. I want to go back to the cheese, Cheshire cheese. I remember Cheshire cheese.
Yes. Cheshire, Wensleydale is lovely as well. We're so lucky. We've got so many different types of cheeses. My favourite is Stilton because I love blues. I love strong cheeses.
Me too.
And the Stilton is a beautiful cheese. But we're so lucky we've got so many different types.
Wow, you're making me hungry.
To drink,
I'm hungry.
So many small breweries nowadays.
Yeah.
We've got such a choice of local beers and ciders and perries. So you're spoiled for choice if you want a glass of beer.
That's a really good thing at the end of a picnic. But the cider is something I remember being such a big deal, and the cider being a lot different America's picking up on the brewery and craft brewery and ciders.
Right.
But the cider, to me, that is like for a picnic to have a really nice cider, you know.
Yes, it's very refreshing. A nice cold glass of cider is really refreshing. Or if you're like me, there's nothing better than a glass of fizzy water. I do love fizzy water.
Fizzy water. That's what you call it, like soda water. Same thing as soda water, or like mineral water.
Just aerated mineral water. Yeah,
you want bubbles?
I do love that. Yeah, I like bubbles. Yeah.
There you go. Everybody needs bubbles.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like bubbles, but
I like mineral water.
Different.
Mineral water with a few bubbles in it. That's good, you know. But we like champagne bubbles. See?
Yes.
Well, there you go. You see.
I'm leaning towards the cider on that part, and cider and cheese is like, yes, please.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that.
Keep you happy.
So now, so you've had a picnic, but actually maybe this question should have been before the picnic. If you could take a 1 hour walk, and everyone, I got to go to onehourwalk.com and join our Facebook group and share your pictures of your walk and get outside and get some fresh air and look at things, look at all the little creatures and flowers and plants and the ocean like Glynn does. But where would you take a 1 hour walk in Norfolk? And if you could walk with anyone alive or passed on, who would it be?
Yeah. Again, there are so many walks because we're in the countryside, so
that's awesome.
It's really geared up for walking. We've got lots of long distance footpaths as well. We've got a coast path, so you can go all the way around the coast. But my own favourite, and I did do a little article not long back about the Roman road that we've got that runs through the middle of Norfolk. And we're so lucky we actually have a Roman road. So you can walk along a road that's been there for nearly 2,000 years, which is amazing by itself. You know, so you're walking along a road, and although obviously the trees that you're seeing are not 2,000 years old, but they are descended from the trees that were there 2,000 years ago. You know, that to me is amazing. And also the wildflowers are all there because the roads are protected, obviously. They're an ancient monument, so they're not allowed to do anything. So all the hedgerows are all just left. And you've got loads of wildflowers, you've got lovely butterflies, you've got birds, you've got everything you can imagine. We see deer sometimes, you know, so that's a lovely walk. And you can go for days. You know, it's that long that you can actually do it for days. And, you know, you can break it up by having a pub lunch. So there can't be much better than that, can it?
Or a picnic.
Yeah.
Or a picnic.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. You know, and so, you know, I remember, you know, talking about that road. Nancy took some of your photos, made a little video. I remember, and we'll have to connect this for everybody because it's up on blendradioandtv.com. Make sure that's linked over for them. But yeah, I mean, this is where the centurions walked, you know?
Yes. And that's who I would take with me, because I'd just love to have a chat with a Roman centurion and see what he thought of Norfolk 2,000 years ago, you know, or not quite 2,000 years ago. But, you know, I would love to have a chat with one of these people who actually built the road and, you know, give a bit of an insight as to what they thought of Norfolk then. So that's who I would have come with me.
I would like to bring them over and see what they think about our freeway system. And what do they think about one-way roads? That's what I would ask.
And roundabouts.
Roundabouts,
I'd like to ask them about, like, I don't know if you have this. Oh, yeah, you did. You showed us a picture of a bus, the one that went in the sinkhole.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to ask one of them who helped build the road, what happened?
Yeah, I want to. Go ahead, Glenn.
Roman roads are actually fantastically constructed. Yeah. If you look at a cross section of a Roman road, because obviously some of them have been excavated archaeologically, and they are built up so expertly. You know, they're always built with they're on a little semicircle, so the top is slightly higher than the sides. There's always a ditch either side of the road to help drainage. The stones are all graduated. So they start at the bottom with, you know, big stones, and then as they build up the surface, they become smaller stones. And you should look at it. Look it up on, you know, on a website about Roman roads and see how they're built up. They are feats of engineering. They really were.
So they could come over here and even there and just say, here, this is where you went wrong.
Yes. Well, no, I mean, I don't know about in America, but our road systems at the moment are terrible. Because obviously we're not spending any money on them because the government are cutting back. But, you know, there's so many potholes and, you know, cracks in the roads. But the Roman roads are still there. And they're 2,000 years old nearly.
Yeah.
See, that's amazing.
That's really something, you know, when you think about it. You know, we have some states where half a state's almost gone down wherever the black hole.
The creature from the Black Lagoon is coming to swallow up the land. But
you know, it's really like it's just sitting in your home, and the road outside could just go down and take your house with it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I think that this is why we need to start practicing our 1 hour walks, because pretty soon that's all we're going to be doing is walking.
Well,
that's how we're going to get around.
We should definitely do more of it.
I agree. I agree on that. Now, okay, so everybody gets to change jobs once for like 1 day. So is there any, if you know, just to learn something new, try something new, is there any business you'd like to take over in Norfolk for a day, or some other skill you'd like to learn, so take over a different position just for a day to try something new locally?
Yes, I would like to run the local government for the day.
Can you come here too?
Yeah.
You can run.
I think that it would just be good. You know, I could make a few changes. You know.
Do you feel like you would gain more understanding of what they go through, or is that doesn't mean much at this point?
No. I think they might gain more understanding of the normal man in the street if they had someone off the street actually talking to them, rather than them just sitting in their little offices talking amongst themselves.
The cubicle.
Yeah, they need to talk to normal people. I think.
So do you feel like, you know, all the little cubicles and people in offices that, you know, do you feel like they're doing the Ricky Gervais show, The Office? Like, do you feel that's how it is?
I've never seen it.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, yeah, it's just how people get silly. Like, I don't know. I think once you get all clamped in like that, and you're not out and about and really connecting with people, we do have a disconnect, and it's internationally a problem.
Yes,
it's
about
and it's
money.
local. It's like the local governments to the top government, and I know the top governments over here are trying to ditch it on the local. And I don't know, man. It's getting interesting, but I think that's going to be good for you to go for a day and say, hey, look here, this decision over here, change that. I think that would be good, so people have a better understanding.
Well,
you know, so
that's never going to happen, but it's nice to think about it.
Well, if it does happen, let us know, because maybe we could do the same thing, and in one day we could get everything squared away.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, we'll have our own global conference.
That would be even better. Change the world.
That's it.
That's it.
I like it. Global passports.
Yes. Okay, so now, Glynn, in Norfolk, is there an event that you've been to many, many times that you just really, really want to always go to and never miss?
Yeah, we have a massive event in the county. It's a county show. We have most counties in England have their county show, which normally started off as an agricultural show. So you would find all the farmers would go there and show their animals, and so you'd have the best cow and you'd the best bull and the best goats and such like. And that now sort of developed into more of a big shop, but they still have the agricultural element, and probably half of them are still about farmers getting together and looking at the new tractors and the new combines and the new forklift trucks, and they still have horses, they still have cattle shows, they still have sheep and goats and dogs, and so it is still an agricultural show, but it's now got more businesses in it as well. So although when I was little, we used to go from primary school, we used to get a bus and we used to go up to the Norfolk show. And that was sort of an event for the children to get out and see what was going on in the world. Now I attend more with my business hat on, with my buy local hat on, and we have a marquee, and we have all of our, not all of our businesses, but a lot of our businesses take a stand in our marquee. Gives them a chance to actually be at the biggest event in the county for a very small investment. And we're out there with all the other businesses. So that's something I haven't missed for several years now.
It's the same as our county fairs that we have out here. We have a county fairs, and they come in and you go on the Ferris wheel, and then you eat funnel cake, and then there's the horses and local crafts, and then there's the marketplace with the vendors.
Corn dogs.
And corn dogs. We eat corn dogs at the fair. So do you have corn dogs? It's a sausage, like a hot dog, like a Vienna, right?
But big.
And then they dip it in a batter thing, and the hot dog thingy is on a stick, and it's in cornmeal. They deep fry it in cornmeal, and sometimes they put cheese in it in the middle, and it's
so good.
It is total
fatty goodness. There's nothing healthy or good about
nothing healthy.
Except we love them.
I know. Now I want one.
I know.
Okay.
Now, if I was going to give you a blank check, I'm sure you would love it.
Yes,
and
please.
You could spend it on throwing a great big event or party. Where would you throw it? Like in a historic building, outside? So what location would you use, and what kind of event would it be?
Well, as I've just spoken to you earlier on about the new museum we've just opened in North Walsham. It's a town in North Norfolk, and there was I think it was about 1381. There was a massive revolt from the peasants. they basically got fed up in the way that those in charge were treating them. It sounds familiar. And they had a peasants' revolt, basically. Cool. And it was a really big thing. You know, lots of people got killed, and it was a massive event. But what I would like to do, because not many people actually know a lot about it. We do locally, obviously, but it really should be commemorated nationally, and it should be a big event. So what I would like to do is make it into a big event, make it into an annual outdoor medieval fair, celebrating and commemorating the Peasants' Revolt. And you know, we've got lots of people who do reenactments.
Oh yeah.
You obviously do Civil War reenactments in America, but we have a lot of people who do you know, medieval reenactments, Saxon reenactments, Roman reenactments. So I would like to put on a really big medieval fair and show people what it was really like in 1381. That's what I would do. And
I want to go. I know. That'd be so
can I just want to run and go, ah!
Yeah.
And I want like a whole outfit. I want to be a reenactor, but I want to be a revolting reenactor. That didn't come out right. But I want to revolt. I want to revolt now.
Well, you know, I think it's an event like that's a reminder to governments that you go too far. There's nothing saying it can't happen again.
Everybody call Guy Fawkes. Guy Fawkes.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I love the organization of Anonymous that uses the Guy Fawkes mask.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just that remembering of like, you do stand up. I mean, here in this country, we're doing like, there's the resistance movement, resist. If it's just so many issues we don't need to get into at all, but it's resist. And, you know, back in the day it was revolt, and there was resist. But there was that chant where we revolt, go, you know. Exactly. I'm all into that. I want to revolt. Okay.
Reorganize.
On the flip side of revolting, I want you to finish this sentence. It's your final question. I'm proud of my community because
we're different.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sums up Norfolk. I mean, there's a sort of a common saying in Norfolk is that we do different. And we do different. You know, we're not run of the mill. Norfolk people don't just accept things and roll over. They do sometimes put up a fight, and they do want to be different. You know, we haven't got a motorway in Norfolk. There is not one motorway in the county of Norfolk. You know, because generally speaking, we don't want a motorway in Norfolk. We've got some reasonable sized roads, you know, dual carriageways with 2 lanes of traffic.
Yeah.
But we don't want motorways, you know, and we don't want great big tower blocks. You know, I'm just trying to think. The tallest tower block in Norwich is probably about, I don't know, 10 stories high, 15, I don't know, not very high at all. We don't want high story.
Yeah,
you know,
you don't want to be
block.
the city look, the big city.
No.
It's a sense of place, just like your article in Parks and Travel magazine for the April-May issue, everybody. We had a great panel discussion with Glynn, also Bobby DePorter from the 8 Keys of Excellence, and also Stephanie McMillan over in Springfield, Kentucky, talking about the importance of sense of place in tourism. And it's all about having integrity, and that's the first key of excellence. And you know, it's so interesting when we talk about sense of place, but it really, for me, I think it's definitely a huge thing for visitors to come in. But I feel for communities, it is so important that you have a sense of place as a local.
Yes.
You know?
And I think that, you know, if we can show people that we are different, they're more likely to want to come and visit, because they know that they're not going to see the same old. Because you know, what is the worst thing when you go to a new town and you think, oh, I want to try something local, and you go along the high street and all they've got are chain restaurants. You might as well have stayed at home. You know, it is totally pointless to travel if you're going to eat, you know, one of these chain restaurants. I won't mention any of them, but there are enough of them to choose from. You know, what is the point in travelling to go and eat the same old rubbish that you can get just around the corner.
We want a pork pie. We want a pork pie.
Exactly.
And a cheese scone. That's what I really want. I want a cheese scone.
You want it with the really good
and the ingredients.
Bread, not something that's traveled 1,500 miles.
No. We want fresh bread from the baker. We want local cheese, local strawberries.
Yep.
Yes.
Just have that cider.
I'm hungry, Glynn. Oh, always such a pleasure chatting with you. And just, Norfolk is just this magical place in England. And everyone, you can go to norfolk-tours-england. If you have English ancestry, chances are Glynn can show you where they lived, where they played, where they were born, maybe where they set up shop, and even help you discover the story between them leaving England and coming to America or Canada or Australia, even South Africa. Because really, back in the day, the Brits got around.
Yes, they did.
It really did, Glynn. So the history's there. But of course, Glynn's answers to his 10 questions and some photos and videos are up on blendradioandtv.com. You'll see him in our expert department. Just click on Glynn and you'll see all his articles and you can listen to his interviews, including this one. And his Locals Insider feature is in the May-June 2018 issue of Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. And don't forget, Big Blend Radio airs Monday through Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Fridays and Sundays at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. The schedule to listen as they go live or on demand is at bigblendradio.com. But Glynn, we've got a special song we're going to close with.
Oh, lovely.
And I love it because it's from England, and it's from a band called Sandtimer. They're south of you in a place called Surrey, and that's like 2.5 hours from you. And a couple of young guys, very cool. They were on our show, and this song is called Rusting Towers. And they wrote it, actually, they were in the ocean, going like a ferry ride or something to get around. And he said that there were these rusting towers in the water, and he was just reflecting on them. That's part of the song, and just reflecting on life. But that he saw I don't know if the towers are actually in the water, but that's what he was seeing, just the history of the area. And so I just thought that connects with you because you've got a lot of water and you've got a lot of historic buildings. I don't know if they're rusting or rusting towers, but there you go.
Well, that'll be good to listen to.
Thank you so much, Glynn. You take care.
And you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Can you possibly think that I'm getting out of this? What can you possibly think? Am I getting out of this? Rusting towers stand out on the waves. I don't know if it's just their sound, but I swear it hums more than it saves. And I feel I'm letting go. I feel I'm letting go of the things I used to know. I would face it every day if I thought that I would getting anywhere. What can you possibly know? Is there anything out there? I wish there was some way that I could know before. But it's just so easy to stay with the colors that are hanging on the shore. And I feel I'm letting go. I feel I'm letting go of the things I used to know. I feel I'm letting go. I feel I'm letting go of the things I used to know. Throwing stones down the wall all my life. I was waiting for the sound as they hit the sides. I've been throwing stones down the wall Rusting towers stand out on the waves. Rusting towers stand out on the waves. The waves, the waves, the waves. I would face it every day if I thought that that would lead to much. I would watch their last light